Okay, sweet. Hello, everybody. For those that don't know, my name's James Hooper. I'm a senior knowledge manager at Spryker, so pretty much look after the strategy and pushing documentation forward uh, and knowledge in general. So I'm going to be taking you through our roadmap, and I'm going to talk about some of the key points to our roadmap as well. And this roadmap was built based off a lot of feedback and a lot of research that we had done last year. And we've been working really hard behind the scenes to get things moving. And we're finally having tangible results this year, which I really want to share with you because I'm pretty excited about what we're going to be delivering. But at any point during this, if you do have any questions, please just let me know. Just shout out. I'm more than happy for you to interrupt whilst we're going through this. So this is our roadmap as for the rest of the year. I do need to put a caveat in here that roadmaps can change based on any new priorities that come in and any new innovations that we want to include, like AI, for example. We are exploring AI in documentation, so those kind of things may come in and take precedence. But for now, this is what we have locked in for the rest of the year. And like I said, I'm not going to go through all of these. I am just going to go through some of them just to show you the big ticket items of what we have coming up. So I'm going to talk about the update to the version processing, and this one's probably going to be quite exciting for some of you on here, or if you are watching this back, because I'm going to say a certain three numbers that you have all shouted at me for with documentation called 404s. So we're going to be solving that with the new version process. I'm going to talk to you about refreshes to an area of our documentation, which is our third-party integrations. And I'm also going to talk to you about how we're going to help you to be able to discover information quicker. So without further ado, updated versioning. Now, this was a big talking point, and this still is a big talking point when we are running our feedback. And our plan here, so our overall plan is that we are going to be removing all versions from documentation, apart from the most latest version. So it's going to be very clean and it's going to be very simple to consume. We are going completely versionless. And this is why. So the first big factor is reducing those 404s. So we had a lot of feedback around, I'd click a link and it'd go to a 404. I'd click a link and it'll take me to a different article and stuff. And the reason that this was happening is because versions were in our URL. So you would have a forward slash and then you'd have the product version and then followed by the article. And when we only have three versions, when a fourth version would come in, the oldest one would get dropped. And therefore, if you had a link to one of those old versions, then if we hadn't put the redirect in, which I'll put my hands up has happened, then you'd be taken to a 404. So by removing all versions from documentation, what this means is that the URL is going to be clean and it's going to be consistent. So if you have a link to an article, when you go back to that link, it'll be the most updated kind of content because there will be no version within that URL. So we were trying to, I'm not saying we're omitting 404s because things can still happen. So I'm not going to sit here and promise you I'm going to get rid of all 404s because just in case that doesn't happen, but we are going to be reducing them, bringing in this new version. We still want to support you though. So if you still are looking for older product versions, documentation for older product versions, we are going to be moving all of the older versions to an archive. So you still have access to the older versions if you actually needed them and to see whatever you're working on. So say you're looking at two versions ago for Marketplace, we'd still have that available for you to be able to reference. But the documentation site will be literally the latest and the greatest docs. So what this also means is as we release code, our aim is to also have the documentation there as well. So we're not going to wait for a product release to come along. We're going to release those docs for you so you can actually be enabled in that new piece of code that's been delivered. Any questions on this? All make sense? Does it sound like a good idea?
Reducing 404s, yes.
Reducing it's always a good idea to reduce 404s.
Never heard a lot of people shouting, more 404s.
Please make it more difficult for us. So the next piece that we will talk about is the update to API and integration documentation. So this is another area of the business that we had a lot of feedback around. It was difficult to understand, that people didn't really know like how it worked or anything like that. So we're working really hard to bring a new set of dedicated documents to help you understand what different methods there are within Spryker to integrate third parties into your project. It's all being kind of built at the moment. So this page that you see here is for demo purposes only because it's not a finalized design or anything. But our goal here is so that you'll be able to come on and you'll be able to see the different methods you can integrate and then choose the right one for you and your project. And alongside this, we're also revamping the API documentation as well, because currently, be honest, it's all a lot of information in one bulk, in one place, and it's not very consumable. And we want to break that down and to enable you to be able to actually use the Spryker APIs more efficiently and more effectively within your projects as well. So we're looking at delivering this this quarter. It's kind of like going to be a baseline, and then over the next quarter, we're then going to build on it by things like interactivity. So we're going to look at bringing in API explorers, so you can actually try them out before you actually integrate them into your project. And then our last big ticket item is to help you find articles more easier and more efficiently. And this again was another huge one that came back with all the feedback, was that it was quite difficult to actually find the information that you're looking for. And what we're going to be doing is two things here. We are going to be improving our search, and we're going to be improving our navigation as well. So with our search, what we are going to be doing is currently, and you'll see here there's a screenshot. When you search for something, it just gives you the article title. We are going to be going back to a search results page, so that when you create your search, you'll have the titles, you'll have a description of that article. But a level up from this, we are also going to be looking at enriching the pages with data, so that we can power filters, which means then you'll be able to narrow down those articles to what's relevant to you. So say, for example, you're just looking for marketplace. Then when you create your search, you can use your filters to say, I'm just looking for marketplace, and it'll narrow it down. So then you're not flooded with articles that are just SCOT or articles that are unified commerce or anything like that. So you'll be able to find those articles and that information a lot quicker. The other side is navigation as well. So our feedback here was that it was a lot of back and forth, that I had to go to the developer docs, and then I went to PDC docs, and I had to keep going back and forth to actually get the information I wanted. So we're going to be moving to a product-based navigation for this, where, for example, you'll have SCOS. So if you're working in SCOS, you'll just go to the SCOS section. It'll show you all the information for there. So you'll have, let's say, for example, payments, and it will show you what payments are, how they work in the back office, how as a developer you can extend payments, or if you want to integrate a third-party payment in there as well. So it's all going to be in one place. There'll be no more back and forth on that aspect. So with these two in place, like I said, our plan is that it will help you to find the knowledge that you need quicker and more efficiently without having to go that back and forth in there. So that was a whistle-stop tour of what's coming up in documentation. But just to let you know, we have heard you. We take this feedback seriously, and we are making moves now to really push documentation forward to make them as comprehensive and valuable and high quality for you as possible.